Now, from the Student Union on the campus of UW-La Crosse, it's the Mike Schmidt Football Show. The Mike Schmidt Football Show is brought to you by Honda Motor Works, your electric, natural gas, and hybrid vehicle headquarters at 4th and Cass, La Crosse. By Schilling Supply, serving businesses with critical supplies since 1897. Schumacher Kish Funeral and Cremation Services in La Crosse, La Crescent, and Onalaska. And Associated Bank. Experience the better side of banking at Associated Bank. Now, here's your host of today's program, Terry Erickson.
Welcome to UW-La Crosse. We are in the beautiful Entertainment Cafe here at UWL in the Student Union for the weekly Mike Schmidt Football Show. The show is live on the stream and replayed every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. We also want to thank our guests who are here to watch the show. Heard a lot of comments from people saying, boy, that looks like a beautiful facility. You have a chance to check this UWL New Student Union out. Please join us here every Monday at 11 a.m. Well, and now the star of the show.
Here we go.
Coach Mike Schmidt.
Fresh
got
off
up
the
early
bag.
this morning. I got up early this morning. I'm driving to my office, and I thought, now that voice sounds familiar. So you started your day early by being a guest host of a radio show.
Yeah, you bet. We were on with Mornings with Dave and Schradle this morning, and pretty fun. I mean, it's kind of cool just to get some more publicity out there, get people to our game, and co-host in these next 2 days. So kind of a cool deal. It's funny, I came into the office, I'm like, all right, now I got to get, Schradle's like, oh, okay, what do you got going on? I'm like, well, my job. No, I mean, this isn't my job at all. I'm going back to try to beat Carroll here this week. So, yeah, it was kind of a fun morning getting to do that, and now we're here.
So you brought credibility to the show then.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you bet. I don't know if I brought any of that. Probably just more confusion and more ridiculousness.
So more nonsense.
Yes, a lot more nonsense.
You know, a lot of people are curious what teams and coaches do in terms of practice, in terms of meetings, workouts, and so on a bye week.
Yeah, we tried to keep it as normal as possible, to be honest with you. We wanted to use it to get our guys back healthy, trying to work on us, trying to work on the things that we saw from our first couple games that we needed to get cleaned up. A lot of the just timing routes, making sure that we stay consistent with what we're doing. And then also, continuing to get our workouts in, our lifts in. So we really kept a normal schedule, even when no pads on a Wednesday, to try to simulate a normal week, because our guys are really creatures of habit. They want to keep their schedules the same too. Their lives are based on what our practice schedule is like. So the only exception was we went on Friday morning. We wanted to practice Friday, but wanted to make sure that they could get back, watch their high school games, or just take a weekend off. So we practiced early in the morning on Friday morning, and then Saturday, Sunday off, and we're going to practice today again on like a normal Monday would be for us.
I imagine it's a chance for players that are nicked up and hurt and so on to get ready for the game this week.
Without a doubt, and we did have some of those guys. Pete Kissling, one of our starting safeties, he missed our last game against Ripon. He'll be back. We're going to get him back and healthy. Jake Krieger, our starting middle linebacker, was hurt against Luther, missed the Ripon game. He'll be back. Just needed some time on some of those things to get guys back and healthy. Mike Santucci went out of the Ripon game. He'll be back and ready to go here this week. So, yeah, a lot of injuries. It gave us some time to get freshened up, get those guys back that were, nothing were real serious, but able to get some of those nicks and banged up guys back. We also are working in the process of getting Austin Mankowski back, a running back for us, who played the last couple of years and has been out due to a foot injury in the summer. We're getting close to getting him back too. So we're going to really have, the boat's going to be full on Saturday against Carroll. We're going to have pretty much everybody at our disposal.
There was an interesting article in Sunday's Tribune that talked about the difficulty of WIAC teams to find non-conference opponents. Read it a couple of times. Knew it from the past, but revelations?
Yeah, I mean, Colton did a great job with the article. It's so true. We're trying to find guys to load up our conference. We're trying to get guys. We just have a hard time because all the conferences in the Midwest are filling up. They're adding teams. CCIW added Carroll last year, adds WashU this year. They're out of non-conference games. Midwest Conference has one or two non-conference games. So we're running out of locations that are close to us because those other conferences are attracting and gaining more teams. So we just run out of places that are close for us, and on our budgets and trying to work that out, long-distance trips aren't really ideal. Fortunately for us, we were able to, we don't even leave the state of Wisconsin this year for any of our games. And then next year we've got Luther back, which is just a great geographic rivalry for us to keep that game going. Love playing that staff and that team. It's just a great game for us. And then next year we've got one. We're looking for one game, but our second one is Olivet College out of Michigan, returning defending conference champ this year. Be a great competition for us, locked in for next year. Still looking for one more though.
Good. Okay. Well, let's go around the WIAC real quickly.
Yeah.
Platteville survived the scare of traveling to Virginia and beating Hardin Sydney.
Yeah, that was. I mean, there's a game. Those guys got to get on a bus and go to Virginia to play a game. Whitewater jumps on a bus and goes down to Wash U.
Picked up their first win.
Picked up their first win. They'll be back, as we've said. They'll really get it going on and get rolling here. So yeah, interesting weekend. You know, you look at two teams from WIC down in St. Louis with River Falls being down there as well. So River
Falls beating Missouri Baptist 30-9.
Yep.
River Falls. Are you worried about them?
Yeah, well, not now. By the end of the year, I will be. But they're legit. They're doing a good job.
Let's look at Carroll. Play this week, 3 o'clock. We'll be broadcasting the game. Yeah, they beat Augustana. They're 1-1. Saturday they won 28-25. Strength. Two questions: strength of the CCIW, their conference, and what will we see against Carroll?
Yeah, CCIW is a great league, and them jumping into that thing makes them pretty dangerous. That's ups their recruiting, all that kind of stuff. But they got a big win this week against Augustana, a perennial national power, and really had a nice win at home. So that'll be they're going to be feeling pretty good. They should be. They played really well. You know, their offense is really starting to come together. They had a tough start against Lakeland. Didn't score a lot of points early on. Really got overwhelmed, I think, defensively early on against Lakeland. But scored a lot of points late, and then had a really nice day offensively against Augustana. So I think their quarterback's playing really well. Started his first, second games here this year. So I think they're going to be playing a lot better, and they'll give us a great test on Saturday. And quick note on it: we're playing the movie Sing after the game. So following the game, it's a 3 o'clock game. Following the game, we're going to be on the video board for all families who are welcome for free. A little movie night at the field, at the stadium.
Really? Well, I don't know if that's going to work with my schedule, but I hope it works with others, because this is going to reveal my age. But after the 3 o'clock game, it's our 50th class reunion.
How about that?
So, whoa.
Great.
So you didn't know I was that old, did you?
Oh, I knew how old you are, but you don't act like it, so it's just a number, man.
Champions in life, champions in sports, school, and life. That's what UWL is all about as we close this segment. But
yep.
I know you teach life lessons all the time.
Yeah, we're trying to. I mean, I think that there's always a higher purpose for what guys are here for. And you look at how sports kind of sets the barometer for where we go in society with everything, and it always seems to be ahead of the curve and always seems to be moving and progressive, and we want our guys to continue that. And obviously Kim Bloom, our athletic director, setting the message of being champions in sport and school and life is no joke, and it's something we adhere to. And really our tagline of true grit, and trying to put that out there. We want our guys that it's going to take a lot of grit to become champions in sport and school and life. And so the more we can pump that into those guys, the more that our football program with our Way 101 can do that, with how our tagline of Our Way can fit into that.
And you and your coaching staff, many of them here today for the show, model that all the time.
I hope so. I mean, we're trying to. I don't know that we always do, and we always certainly have our failings and fallings, but we're certainly trying to get our guys to be better and expect more of them.
Well, we're going to cut away for just a minute. When we come back, we're going to bring a special guest, an assistant coach, here on the Mike Schmidt Football Show right after this.
The all-new Honda Fit gives you the flexibility of the magic seat with the fuel efficiency you celebrate at the pump. From Honda Motorworks.
You'll love more miles per dollar. Honda Motorworks.
Since 1897, Schilling Supply Company has been your single source provider of business solutions and supplies. Their 65,000 square foot facility stocks over 3,000 items ranging from packaging, janitorial, industrial, food processing, safety, and specialty products. Schilling Supply provides the essentials you need to meet your customers' and employees' expectations. Businesses like Gunderson, Quick Trip, Dynamic Recycling, and Badger Corrugating rely on Schilling Supply to deliver the right products at the right time. Schilling Supply Company. Visit on the web or call.
Stunning from any angle, the HR-V is a crossover of style and versatility.
You'll love more miles per dollar. Honda Motor Works.
Welcome back to the Mike Schmidt Football Show. Well, we're joined on the set by one of the premier coaches in offensive line play in the country, and that is Andrew McGlenn, the offensive line coach, and the recruiting coordinator. Well, Mike, you were anxious to get him on the show.
Yeah, we were for sure. Coach McGlenn's a good friend of mine. It was awesome kind of getting to come back and work together here. I think if you cut both of us open, that maroon and gray just flies out of our veins for sure. Coach was a teammate of mine when I was here, a couple years behind him in school, but a teammate of mine. And then we actually were roommates and co-workers at the University of Dubuque. My first year, both of our first full-time jobs in college football. So really a neat experience. So Coach and I lived together, and with my wife, she wasn't my wife then, and our big, huge Great Dane dog, but we had some good times there, cutting our teeth a little bit in the coaching profession, and then come here, and Coach McGlenn's on staff, obviously, and our recruiting coordinator doing a heck of a job with everything, from game day visits to scheduling all our visits, whatever it might be. Guy does just an awesome job with everything. And then certainly as our old line coach, wouldn't want anybody else here.
Well, is he your friend on noon basketball when you're on one team inside the paint and he's on the other team? I don't think you're friendly then, are you?
No, Coach Janis is really, truly my nemesis on the court. Coach McGlenn is sometimes friend and sometimes foe, but it gets a little intense for sure. Yeah, you bet.
Well, should we let Coach
Let's let him talk. I'll stop the nonsense now.
You were nonsense all morning on the radio.
That's right.
By the way, but
that's just my life.
Well, looking at Coach's resume, an all-region, all-WIAC performer for 4 years, and one of the better linemen that have played here. I remember those days, Coach, and you probably remember those too, because you had some tremendous coaches that guided you along then, didn't you?
Really a neat situation for me, Terry, with Mike Anderson, who was my position coach, still being on staff, still getting to work with him. And Coach A is the one who got me into coaching. He set me up with my graduate assistantship at Chadron State, Nebraska. Didn't even have to interview for that job. Because of him, because of his recommendation, I was offered the job without an interview. So I'll be forever grateful for him for that, and then still being able to be with him now is really a neat setup.
Well, you're part of the UWL culture of success. You're part of the UWL culture of being on winning teams and knowing what it takes and get the most out of your athletes. But you coach in different places, as you mentioned. You are an outstanding in high school. You coached at 2 different high schools. So you have a lot of coaching experience behind you.
Yeah, and every place you go to, you develop different things and see different ideas from people. So I'd like to think I'd gather information from every place I've been at, whether it's positive or negative. And being here, being the last 2 years now with Coach Schmidt again, has really been invigorating in terms of coaching.
And the word is it that you're highly sought after to speak and work with linemen at the high school level for camps. Has that been a big part of your life?
Yeah, we've gotten to do quite a few camps and have that opportunity to work with kids and develop offensive line play. It's really fun to see kids improve in that area.
Recruiting coordinator. Wow. Big job, obviously, at the college level, Division I, II, III, that's what it's all about, recruiting coordinator. 5th year that you've been here, but recruiting a unique, different approach. Maybe you can both share that on what you look for when you recruit college linemen.
Go ahead, Coach.
Mainly, we have to look for a lot of different aspects of it. Academically, we look at ACT, GPA, SAT right away to see if a kid's going to qualify to get into our place. And then we do look at measurables, height and weight, to see whether or not the kid is going to have the frame to be able to do that. Now, one of our starters right now, Bradley Schultz, was 205 pounds coming out of high school, but had bigger hips had the ability to put on some weight. So we have to guess that based on shoulder and hip width and how we think we can put weight on a kids, because we're not going to get a lot of kids that are 6'5", 290 right out the gate. We're going to have to get a lot of skinnier kids and put weight on them as they go. And that's, I talk to my friends who coach at the Division I level, and they say the same thing. So.
But the challenge, though, for both of you, the challenge with these linemen throughout the Midwest, and of course you have to get those names from somewhere. I'm interested in how you do that. But then also the competition of all the other schools that are going after the same athlete.
Yeah, with the increase in scholarships with the Missouri Valley schools and the Dakotas, they don't have the population out there to be able to facilitate filling all of those spots, especially with lineman bodies. And the state of Wisconsin certainly has a great reputation for producing those bodies. So whether it's the drop down from Missouri Valley to the Northern Sun, because the Northern Sun kids are now getting plucked up, more and more people have come into the state of Wisconsin, so we have to be really do a thorough job in trying to identify kids who maybe aren't going to be ready to play that first year, but will be after a year or two in our system.
And Coach, you're a big part of that recruiting too, obviously.
Yeah, I think we kind of direct on which way we want to go with it and kind of how we want to put it together. But our assistants just do a fabulous job. How do we gather names? Well, I mean, there's a part of it that is with the high school coach and that. But literally, these guys look at every single kid that they can find at every high school in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Illinois. And then we're trying to find some other crossovers with Iowa and some other unique areas. We recruit some of the larger metro areas around the country. And Coach McGlenn did a great job. We got a young man, Max Brower, out of Houston this year. We got a young guy, Alex Richardson, out of Phoenix this year. So we have some of those unique situations where we're not going to look up or look past guys, but our staff does a great job. They spend hours and hours and hours through the spring and summer days watching every kid that they can find on Huddle Online. It's just arduous work, but they do a great job sifting through and finding those guys.
Absolutely. And as we end this segment, a couple minutes left, two quick questions. One, I was impressed working your games, the first two games, highly tenuous and kind of uncertain offensive line play, but it was remarkably good. It'll get harder and harder and harder this week, and certainly with Stevens Point, they'll bring a different package. They'll bring the house. I mean, it will be a challenge. But with only one returning lineman, you must be pleased.
We're making really good progress, Terry. As you mentioned, the next 2 weeks will be challenging because we'll see more multiple fronts out of those teams. And with Stevens Point, the number of blitz packages they bring is probably about the highest in the league traditionally with what Coach Jernell calls. So we'll certainly have to improve our play. We've had some nice starting points. We've been able to get some of the nerves out of some of our young guys who haven't had those opportunities to play. But now it's really time to grow up.
I know. Digging back in my archives in the last minute we have, and I coached football for 40 years at different levels, but I studied offensive line play from Jim Hannafin and all the techniques and explosion and all the footwork and all the things that he taught, and turned out 27 All-Pros, by the way. You've gotten some stuff from him and from Coach A.
Yeah, certainly. I've seen Coach Hannafin speak. I wouldn't tell you I use a lot of the techniques that Coach Hannafin does, mainly because the rules of the game have changed. I mean, it used to be illegal to extend your hands off your chest to pass protect. That's all we do now for pass protection. So it's not that I know more than Jim Hannafin. It's just the rules are more advantageous to allow us to use different and because of that, better techniques for what we're doing.
Good. Well, you've done a great job, and I'm looking forward to watching that line continue to improve under your direction, along with Coach A. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back here on the Mike Schmidt Football Show, two key players, two seniors. You're about to meet them. Right after this.
The all-new Honda Fit gives you the flexibility of the magic seat with the fuel efficiency you celebrate at the pump. From Honda Motor Works.
You'll love more miles per dollar. Honda Motor Works.
Since 1897, Schilling Supply Company has been your single-source provider of business solutions and supplies. Their 65,000 square foot facility stocks over 3,000 items ranging from packaging, janitorial, industrial, food processing, safety, and specialty products. Schilling Supply provides the essentials you need to meet your customers' and employees' expectations. Businesses like Gunderson, Quick Trip, Dynamic Recycling, and Badger Corrugating rely on Schilling Supply to deliver the right products at the right time. Schilling Supply Company. Visit on the web or call.
Stunning from any angle, the HRV is a crossover of style and versatility.
You'll love more miles per dollar. Honda Motor Works.
Welcome back to the Mike Schmidt Football Show, our last segment. Well, we're joined by two Eagle standouts. I know them, you may not know, but they are two members, student athletes first. Pair of seniors, Ryan Kruser and Zach Schradle. Welcome to the show, guys. Thank you. Thank you. So you got these guys out of bed on a Monday morning, bright and early, so they could get in front of the mirror and get ready for this show.
Yeah.
Good job.
Well, it's funny, every week we seem to go on this show and other things around the media, and I talk about how great our guys are, and every week it's like, these are two of my favorite guys. These are two of our best guys. These are two of the greatest guys in the world, and it just seems to continue like that, and these two are no exception to it. These are two of my favorite guys to coach. Ryan comes out last year, joins us in the spring of 16 to come out for the team, and what a joy, what a treat that was, getting him right off. I mean, the guy hasn't had like a day off from sports in the last 2.5 years. And just continuously one of our hardest working guys, not only on the field but off the field, where we use him in so many different ways. It's like, sometimes last year we would forget Ryan hadn't played football in like 3 years prior to coming back out, and we're like, hey, be the return man, be the punt blocker, be this, do the jet motion, be our starting receiver. You kind of forget how special that is for a guy that hasn't played in so many years to come do it. And then Shrades comes along this year, and it's the same thing. We're like, come on, you got to punch on the PAT block team, and you got to do it. It's like, guy hasn't played tight end like ever and hasn't played football in the last 3 years. So these guys are just phenomenal athletes, phenomenal teammates for us. And when Zach came and talked to me, he's like, hey, I got to talk to you about something. And I was just like, yes, let's get another one. So they've just been two wonderful teammates and wonderful players for us.
You said bring entertainment to the show. We just brought it right there.
There it is. There you
how
go.
You described them. But just to check your credibility, by the way, Coach, I did a little research on him early this morning while you were on a radio show, and I checked him out. And you're absolutely correct.
I am right.
But in case our viewers are wondering, we have had both these guys on Seven River Sports. So they're used to being on the show, and starting with Ryan Kruser. Everyone, I think, knows about his basketball skills and the transition, much to the enjoyment of the football staff. But a little bit about Ryan Kruser. Wanakee, one of the toughest schools in the state in football and in basketball, all conference, played 4 years, state champs in 2011. But here's what really impressed me. Honor roll all 4 years. So student first, athlete second. You're exactly right, Coach. What an incredible individual you are in terms of representing what students are all about.
Oh, I really appreciate that, and we're here as students first, and that's one thing I kind of really take to heart. And obviously I love playing football, but you got to get it done in the classroom to be able to play football. And there's more. I'm not going to be playing football the rest of my life, so to kind of have that foundation with my education is really important to me. And obviously being able to play football on top of that is I'm having the time of my life right now with this team and all my teammates, so couldn't be happier.
But this guy next to me, Zach Schradle, doesn't take a back seat to you, by the way, Ryan Kruser. Sorry about that. But for those of you that don't know, let me tell you a little bit about him. High school 4-year letter winner, regional sectional champs, outstanding basketball player, highest honor roll, and salutatorian of his class at Clayton, and the newest street named after him. I mean, he's probably the best athlete that ever came out of Clayton. Would you agree with that?
I don't know about that, no.
Close?
Close, maybe.
Experiences at Clayton, share those.
little smaller town than Kruser came from, actually a lot smaller town than Kruser came from, so it was a little different. But student first, same thing, kind of like he said, none of us are getting paid to play here, so we're playing because we love the game. And I'm a biology major, so we have to prepare for things beyond football. And starting in high school into college, all has prepared me for that. So.
But impress our viewers and tell them exactly which class you just came from.
I came from human molecular genetics in Cowley.
That's right. That's right.
No, I don't think Coach Schmidt had that class when he was
I
here.
did not. I did not have it, nor will I ever have it. But these guys, all of our guys come from, it seems like they come from these classes. I'm like, welcome to UW-La. That's about right with all of them. They just continue to keep impressing us with everything.
Ryan Kruser, who inspired you when you were young to become a high school standout and a dual athlete in college?
It's a tough question. I mean, I've had a lot of positive influences in my life, but I mean, first and foremost, I think I'd have to say my dad. Growing up, he's always very supportive, both my parents for that matter. Just really supportive in what I want to do and pushing me to be the best I can be, and always supporting me in the ups and downs. Hasn't always been pretty and always been great, so they're always kind of there to pick me up when I need it. And so I'd have to say, my dad especially for football, and my mom as well for sports too. So she played sports in high school, so both of them, and my brother as well too. I have to say him. We had some battles in the backyard playing tackle football and growing up, and he definitely toughened me up. I'd say, not taking it easy on me. So I got to give a lot of credit to him too for toughening me up and roughhousing me a little bit.
Setbacks have made you tougher?
Yep. My senior year we lost the state championship, and that's obviously before that too. I mean, there's other things in sports that haven't gone well, and just stuff like that makes you stronger, and not giving up on yourself is important. And like I talked about, my parents have kind of been there in the tough times to kind of show me what I need to do and guide me to become a better player, and it just makes you work harder.
Schrades, now listen to this. First, he's at Superior. He doesn't like it cold 11 and a half months out of the year. So he comes south to La Crosse. He plays basketball, has an outstanding basketball career, and all of a sudden he knocks on the door and decides to play football. Like, whoa, how unique. What was the reason for that?
It was just one of those things, you come to the end of your basketball career, and then you look at yourself in the mirror, and you're coming into your last semester, and you're thinking, what am I going to do? I'm used to running around, doing basketball and going to class. So it was like, I saw an opportunity here. Superior didn't have a football program up there, but I saw an opportunity here to continue my athletic career, and why not? It's a great school.
Rapid fire drill. Are you satisfied with your season so far?
Very, yeah.
Ryan, too?
Yep, so far there's a lot to work on, obviously. But
what are we going to see from you individually, both of you, as we look through the rest of the season?
Go ahead.
I'm just grateful to have an opportunity to play on this team, and wherever I can help out, whether it's scout team or getting some snaps during the games, I'm going to try and do my best.
So you are a consummate practice player. You just do whatever it takes, which is pretty unusual.
Yeah.
And does Ryan do the same thing?
Oh,
maybe not.
Yeah, he does. These two guys are ridiculous. I mean, here's an all-conference basketball player saying he just wants to, if he can be on the scout team, great. You kidding me? These guys are incredible, and Ryan's the same way. I mean, the guy does everything. He's on every return team. He's our return guy. He does everything.
And that's one of the reasons you love coaching at UW-La, don't you? It's because of players like
these guys, and without a doubt. I mean, we've got incredible guys. Like every week, I tell you, these guys are some of my favorite guys. These guys are so great. These guys are no exception to that. They take second place to nobody in that.
Well, there's an old saying: you are who you associate with. Mm-hmm. There's no question about it, and this is an example. Well, thanks for being on the show, guys. I appreciate that. Around UW-La, Coach.
Yeah, a little update on our teams and what's happening here. Soccer with another win on the weekend in overtime, thrilling fashion. Coming up this week, we've got soccer playing hosting Wartburg on Wednesday night at the new stadium, new field. Tennis is in action. Volleyball's in action. Volleyball goes into conference play at Oshkosh on Wednesday night, and obviously we're back here Saturday night, 3 o'clock, Carroll University.
Yeah, and we'll be there covering that show. Well, we want to thank you for watching, being a part of this week's show. We want to recognize our sponsors, Schilling Paper, Schumacher Kish, Honda Motorworks, the Alpine Inn, and Associated Bank, as well as our friends here at the Entertainment Cafe here at UWL. We'll be here each week as we talk Eagle football. Next week talking about the game at Carroll with Coach Schmidt and guests. Remember, show is replayed every Tuesday at 6:30. Until next week, I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Thanking you for joining us. See you from UWL.
You've been watching the Mike Schmidt Football Show on KQEG-TV. The Mike Schmidt Football Show is brought to you by Honda Motorworks, your electric, natural gas, and hybrid vehicle headquarters at 4th and Cass, La Crosse. By Schilling Supply, serving businesses with critical supplies since 1897. Schumacher Kish Funeral and Cremation Services in La Crosse, La Crescent, and Onalaska. And Associated Bank. Experience the better side of banking at Associated Bank. Join us next week at this same time for the Mike Schmidt Football Show.